So first what we have to do is we have to measure out our thread. Usually an arm's length is good enough. So you're just going to take the thread and 1 arm's length. Okay? That's about all the thread you need. You don't want it to be much longer because then the thread will get tangled as you're sewing. When you're ready to cut your thread, you want to cut the thread at an angle, at a 45-degree angle. It makes it easier to thread into your needle this way. So now we're ready to thread our needle. The needle has 2 parts. The eye of the needle, that's where the hole is, and that's where the thread goes through, and the point of the needle, that's the part that pierces the fabric. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our thread and we're just going to slide it right through the eye of the needle, and we are going to match up the ends of our thread just like that. This is a double threaded needle. It should hang like the pendant on a necklace. Now we're ready to knot the end of the thread. So this is our doubled thread. What we're going to do, we're going to take our index finger and we're going to wrap the thread around once, twice, and then we're going to roll the thread off just like that so that you get that loop that forms. What you're going to do next, you're going to pull the loop down and you get a nice knot right at the bottom. Now that our needle is threaded and our thread is knotted, it's time to start sewing. Today we're going to be using felt because it's a bit easier to work with, and felt doesn't have a wrong or a right side, but fabric sometimes does, so it doesn't matter which side of the fabric we start on. So we're just going to pierce the fabric with our needle and we're going to pull the thread through. Our knot is going to keep our fabric in place. So now the side that the knot is on, that's going to be the wrong side of the fabric, and this is going to be the right side of the fabric. We're going to start by doing a running stitch. So we're going to enter the fabric just next to our knot and we're going to pull it tight. So at this point, we're almost done with our running stitch. We only have a few inches left to go. So we're just going to go the rest of those inches. Felt can be a little tough sometimes. Alright, so now we're done sewing. So now we're going to learn how to anchor the stitch. We're going to take a little piece of fabric and we are going to form a loop. We're going to put our needle through this loop and pull tight. Now this is going to anchor our thread into our fabric, so we want that knot to be secure. We're going to go in one more time through the loop we just made, make a loop, needle through the loop, and pull tight. Last thing to do is to cut our thread. And now you have a running stitch. Stitch we're going to learn is called an overcast stitch. So as you can see, the knots are on this side, so this is the wrong side of the fabric. So this is where we're going to enter into the fabric. Alright, I'm about a 1/4 inch away from the side of the fabric and I'm going to pull tight. The overcast stitch occurs by casting the thread over and entering into the same side. So unlike the running stitch where you are going through both sides, the overcast stitch, you are going to enter in the same side of the fabric each time. You're casting the thread over and around. So now we're just about finished with our overcast stitch. We're just going to finish to the end and we're going to knot it off. Okay. So now it's time to anchor our thread. Just like we did before, we're going to go right in through just a tiny bit of fabric right under that last stitch that we just did, and we're going to make that loop. We're going to place our needle through the loop and pull tight. Just like with the running stitch, we're going to do that 2 times. Through and through the loop. Pull tight. Cut your threads, and that's how you have a running stitch and a overcast stitch.